What am I doing? What am I doing, Alex? What is this?
I think you're opening a portal, or you're
I am
messing with Wanda or something. I don't know.
Exactly, baby, because we are getting right into it, man.
Yes, sir.
Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. We have finally seen it. And later in the episode, we'll also cover Moon Knight, the finale, and a little bit of the Avatar trailer too. But we need to get. I'm going straight to it because we've been waiting long enough to talk about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. We've both seen it now. I saw it earlier this week at a screening on first, and it was the hardest time I've ever had to not talk to you, my friend. We made a pact. Me and Alex were like, you can't, we're MIA. You're not going to say shit to me for the next 3 days, because Alex then saw it on Thursday, which was the opening day. Right. And then I actually got to see it at the same time for the second time also. So you ready? I'm ready. We're going to go straight into it and deep dive. Okay, let's do it. Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, my friend. Review. I'm just going to start straight up. What did you think of the movie?
So are we going to do like a scale of 1 to 10? 1 to 10? Is that what we should do?
Sure, yeah. I always think the scale of 10 is too much, but I'm down to go for the 10. It's fine.
1 to 5?
I like 1 to 5s. You know me. I like my one.
Okay, 1 to 5. 1 to 5.
Thank you.
I go 3.5 out of 5. Good, not great, nothing exceptional. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed the film. This is just the overall review. I did enjoy the film. There were moments of the film I was just like, that's so cool. But, I did have some issues with it. I feel like the pace of the film actually may have hurt the film a little bit. It is just breakneck pace from start to finish. It is so good. It hurts the film to the point where it's just like, I don't think we get enough Doctor Strange at some points. So yeah, I go 3.5 out of 5. I still enjoyed it. I would still watch it again. Personally, at this moment in time, I am more of a fan of the first Doctor Strange movie. But I think last thing I'll say is, as it goes through, the film does get more Sam Raimi, and that's really where the film starts to get better and better and better. It's just I just had some problems, and we'll get into it, but that's my overall review, 3.5 out of 5. Ed, give me your out of 5.
I am pretty close to that. I would actually put it a little bit less. I would do 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5.
Damn.
Look, I want to preface my review a little bit with the fact that I do think it's a good movie. It's not a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination. There's a quality here that's brought by Sam Raimi that is unfound in most MCU films, particularly visually and just artistically, with some of the horror choices that were made. Right. Phenomenal.
Completely agree.
However, I have to say that I was disappointed ultimately as a Marvel fan, like as an MCU fan. I think anybody who is casually viewing this, who generally likes the MCU just to watch it, are going to have a perfectly fine time. But as someone who invests a lot of their time into MCU and their money and their all their mental state, it disappointed me. It definitely disappointed me, and mostly from its story. I really thought the story was very messy. It was muddled, and particularly the character arcs are things that I was not super happy with. I don't think Steven was given that great of a struggle to deal with. It seemed to be centered around him really just languaging on the fact that he doesn't have a life with Christine, more or less, and I just didn't think that was strong enough. And then Wanda, who I think Elizabeth Olsen was phenomenal, not bashing her in any way. She was probably one of the best parts of the movie. Her story I thought wrapped up a little wonky. I just wasn't really down with the Darkhold manipulating her. It was like more of the Darkhold stuff than anything for her. And they kind of stripped off a lot of the things that I felt that WandaVision built up beautifully on an emotional level and with Vision. I just thought they kind of dropped that on the floor in favor of making Elizabeth sort of this force to be reckoned with, Scarlet Witch in the MCU, which I don't hate either. Like, that makes sense, but I just wish there was a little something in between to tie all that together. Anyways, so that's my quick review of the film. I was disappointed, but it's still a good movie.
Yes,
and I definitely like Doctor Strange 1 more for sure. That's overall a better movie for sure.
Oh yeah. So where do we want to start? Do we want to? get
what do you wanna
into
hit?
let's do we want to go first the highs, maybe the very big things that happened?
Yeah.
Let's start there.
Maybe we should talk about the very, very big things that
let's
happened.
start there.
Let's start there. Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Talk about what everybody wants to talk about.
Yeah, it's what everyone like. Spoiler alert for those still listening. If you haven't watched the film, go watch it in the biggest theater possible because it is a visual spectacle. I think we can both agree on that.
Yeah.
But oh boy, the Illuminati, the full lineup was revealed.
Yeah.
Obviously, we both feel the trailers kind of revealed a little too much, but that is what it is. But they kept the biggest gun secret, and that was John Krasinski as Reed Richards. He's there. He's introduced as the smartest man alive, and he comes through this really cool portal thing, and you're just like, oh, damn. My theater went crazy. Actually, it wasn't really crazy. It was like this audible gasp from everyone because I don't think anyone actually believed. I said last episode, I don't think they're going to pull off John Krasinski. I don't think they're going to be able to get him.
Yeah.
And there he was. Pretty damn amazing. Ed, what did you think of it? I lost it. I thought it was so cool.
Not only me, but in my second screening particularly, which was more of like the general audience screening, and the fan. No, I would say that it's the heavy fans. What am I talking about? No, it was the heavy fans. 3 p.m. on a Thursday. Get the fuck out of here! All MCU fans who are risking work, to watch
risking. Yeah. Hey, I'm sick. I gotta go.
Huge uproar. I mean, just easily the loudest one of the movie. Very comparable to how people reacted to seeing, Toby. Andrew and Toby. Loud as shit. I couldn't hear a damn word for the next 30 seconds. Huge uproar. I was going crazy. It's like, well, it's one of those things where, one, everybody loves John Krasinski, and two, again, Marvel is listening to their fans, which is just, that's not something you get a lot from these studios. And this is almost a different level of fan service in the sense that like you're getting tangible feedback from your biggest IP, your favorite thing in the world. Like that's crazy. Yeah. And dude, imagine that guy who initially, I don't know how many years ago this was already. I'm sure we can find it, but there's a picture, there was a rendering by an artist.
Oh, yes.
John Krasinski with the Fantastic Four outfit, just as a fan thing, nothing ever said before. Imagine how crazy that guy must be flipping his shit out right now. I mean, that thing is now worth probably, that single photo is probably, what do you call it? What's the new thing that they call
NFT.
NFT. That's a fucking NFT right there. Worth
probably
jillions.
Yeah, that moment was great, and like you nailed it on the head, dude. They are listening to their fans. Yeah. Like when people saw that photo, it went viral, and people were like, "Yes, make this happen. Make Emily Blunt his wife. Make her Sue Storm.
It has to happen.
You feel like it has to happen."
Yes.
I thought this was a great intro to the way he speaks. Like he does come off as this like very smart, well-intentioned, well-informed person that you're just like, oh man, this dude is so cool, and I cannot wait to see him. Yeah.
Humble. He has like this humbleness about him, right? Like
yes.
He's not around like he's the smart. He's like the antithesis to
Tony Stark.
Tony Stark. Yeah.
Yeah. Tony knows he's the smartest person in the room. Now, I do get a little sad thinking that I won't see Robert Downey Jr. and John Krasinski on screen together, because maybe not. I mean, the multiverse is now open.
Never know.
America Chavez does know how to travel through it now, so maybe we do get it eventually. But anyway, so that's just the first part of the craziness, right, Ed? We also get Anson Mount back as Black Bolt. Black Bolt from the very infamous, very bad Inhuman series on ABC. I don't know who watched that show.
I don't know what's worse, Iron Fist or that. Both have had.
I think Inhumans was way worse.
I think Inhumans was worse. Just because at least Iron Fist was in people's mouths. No one watched Inhumans.
Exactly.
Did you watch Inhumans? I don't watch Inhumans.
I never saw a minute of it.
No.
I know.
Not a fan.
No, not. Yeah, but he comes back and he's playing back Black Bolt. He's in the full outfit. And I won't like. I don't know how you feel, but I was like, yo, this guy's pretty cool. I kind of want to see more from him.
I loved him. This is where I feel, again, the casting department is just like sticking to their guns, right? It's like okay, fine. Some IPs don't work out, but that doesn't mean that the people playing these characters need to be pushed to the side. It's like keep them in because consistency. It's paying off. Consistency is paying off for them rather than switching out characters like another franchise we know that is kind of doing that. Just take them out. If it doesn't work out with the first one, then we'll take them off screen or keep with them, and it's working great. He did a great job.
He was very cool. And then we'll break down what happens to the Illuminati in just a second, but let's go through the full lineup. We also get Captain Carter from What If, the first Avenger. Haley Atwell is back to reprise her role as that. She was amazing. I thought she was great.
I've always loved Haley Atwell. I watched short-lived, but Peggy Carter, that series is great. Very I don't know underrated. If you watched it. It's good. Yeah. And it sadly only lasts like 2 seasons, but she's awesome. She's a great actress. And we sort of don't get too much of her for the rest of the in the MCU, sadly, because it makes sense. Like time-wise, that doesn't work. Right. But to see her back after all these years, how like she's now like a main character again. Right. After all these years, like that's so cool. And I liked how they didn't make her like seem too kind of butch and buff they did in the What If series. This looks natural. Yeah. And come on, tell me you didn't love that line. Even though it belonged, even though we see that line belonging to Chris Evans, she played that great.
Yeah, right? And it was just such like a it was so much different. It was almost, dare I say, manlier than the way Chris Evans does it. Because she's over here, she spits out this like massive chunk of blood, and she goes, "I can do this all day," and her mouth's all bloodied, and you're like, "Oh shit!" She brought a cockiness to it that Chris does, because he's humble, right? He doesn't say it for that, but she was like, "Oh no, I'm gonna I got an attitude," and it's playful, and I love that. I love how they had it wasn't a straight direct copy of. Yeah, that was great. I really loved how she portrayed it. That's a brilliant point about her bringing a cockiness to the character, because she has to be different, right? Because again, you're going to get compared to Chris Evans. Yes. That's a brilliant point.
It's totally in line with her character. She is the Peggy. She felt exactly like the Peggy Carter that we met in that movie, and she looked great. It's a testament to like can the MCU survive past the big players the iconic players that we've known. Yeah, I think she does a great job. I'm happy to see her back. But let's move on to someone perhaps who
the final member of the Illuminati, right?
Oh well, no.
Well, one of the final members,
we technically have two more. Yeah, right. But okay. I want to go over this one in terms of reaction, because oh boy, was this cold. The next member is Captain Marvel, played by Maria Rambeau. So
Lashana Lynch, right? That's her name in real life.
This was Brie Larson's buddy in the first movie. She ends up being the Captain Marvel of this universe. And I'm gonna tell you, man, I've never experienced this in the theater, where you have uproar after uproar after uproar, and then just awkward silence. Right. Just no one, not even a whoop, not even like the arbitrary Nothing. Like woo, like no one even wanted to say anything about this, and it kind of hurt. What happened in Mercury with that?
My theater was the same, and there was a massive uproar because it was Haley Atwell. You see her, and then you see Captain Marvel, and it was kind of just silence. It wasn't anything. And this brings up a good point. You mentioned just a few seconds ago, the Marvel casting gets it right all the time. And look, Anson Mount came back and he got a big roar, and the way he was portrayed was fantastic. I just think that Marvel has a lot of rehab to do with these Captain Marvel characters, because I just don't think it left a good reaction with the audience.
It's interesting.
I don't know. It was weird.
That movie, if you remember, made $1 billion.
It did.
Fucking crushed. It crushed.
So crushed, dude.
Why is it now? There's this awkward. I mean, honestly, even in Endgame, like it was awkward when Brie Larson was on screen, man.
There wasn't a big reaction to Brie Larson.
And here, even more so, like nobody cared. Like nobody cared. And it was even more awkward. It wasn't like it was even funny. People just didn't almost want to say anything. And I'm frankly, I have no comment. I don't exactly know why. I really don't.
I don't know why either. And I want to apologize. There's people doing construction outside my office, our podcast studio, if you will. So I apologize for the extra noise in this episode. Just deal with it. I'm so sorry. Anyway, it's really weird to me that they just don't. I don't know. I don't know how people feel about the characters. Like when Captain Marvel fights Thanos in Endgame, I don't remember a scream. I don't remember anything. I'm just kind of like, oh, and Captain Marvel, it's certified fresh at 79%. But it's got a 45% audience score, which look, there's going to be a chunk of that.
Does it really?
Yeah, there's going to be a chunk of those people that are just trolls that are going to hate no matter what. Like, there's nothing you can do about it.
I didn't even know it had a horrible. Oh, we know. Yeah, dude, there was that whole thing about Rotten Tomatoes and
remember we were there and they were like
review bombing. Oh,
yeah, there was like
I forgot about that. You're right.
I think they thought about pulling because of Captain Marvel. You now have to watch the movie before you can review it on Rotten Tomatoes.
Right,
so like
exactly,
it's like verified through Fandango now. Like that's what Captain Marvel did.
Thank you, Captain Marvel.
But yeah, which it should be, right? But yeah, I don't know what it was about it. I thought her character was fine. I don't mind the way she portrayed her. I would like to see her more of her character, maybe. But like, I just don't know. It was weird that the reaction wasn't there for her.
I think this goes back to that movie, and I think particularly for us who we didn't love that movie. No. I actually think it's probably the worst MCU movie, or at least definitely one of like the bottom three.
I would agree.
They just simply, aside from Brie Larson, they just didn't give us a compelling character. It was one of the characters that just didn't fill in its shoes, and I think we were all just kind of left confused as to who is this character, and what we didn't. I don't particularly feel like we liked her as a heroine. She came off as very cocky. She came off as very not really knowing what she's doing, and so I think that's what it is. I don't think it's because we necessarily hate the character. We just have nothing to cheer for about that character, sadly.
Right, yeah. Nothing to cheer for yet. But like, I brought up the point about, the great casting and the direction. Like Inhumans was terrible and nobody pretty much critically and widely panned by everyone, right?
That's true. True.
You bring back this guy and you give him in the hands of Sam Raimi in the guided hands now, and he's amazing.
Yeah.
In Black Bolt. So maybe with Captain Marvel 2, or it's not Captain Marvel, the Marvels is what it's called. With the extra characters now thrown in, it will be something that's much better.
I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell you that the Marvels is uphill battle right now. I
think it is an uphill battle.
Very awkward positions.
Yeah.
We also don't know what exactly it's about yet.
No, not yet. No.
Like, why is it? How many Marvels are there? Why is it that it feels like it's not a Captain Marvel movie anymore?
Yeah, I don't know why you're throwing 3 characters into it now.
Yeah, and they've not said. I mean, Brie Larson herself hasn't really posted anything about it. Hasn't really championed it.
Weird.
It's a weird movie.
Right.
And it's coming fairly soon. So
yeah, next summer. So which, it seems like a long time away, but it'll be here before you know it.
The marketing for that's gonna be pretty interesting. I want to see.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting. I would start early with it. If you got great things to show, start early, start hard. It's not Thor. It's not Doctor Strange. It's not going to carry on its own feet. Anyway, so that was another member of the Illuminati. Yeah, where we just got the awkward pause, and you're just kind of like, wait, should we be excited?
Yeah.
And then the final member. Well, we have to count Mordo.
Well, there's Mordo, but everyone
knew he was there. So
he's great. I love him, but
he's great. He's great. He's great. Anyway,
he's great.
We have the very, very amazing reveal of Patrick Stewart back as Professor X.
God,
and you have to love, as he's coming out in his wheelchair, just a little small orchestral notes going off by the strings.
The song of the
as he's coming out, you're just like, oh.
Here's the thing: is that I don't even think I heard that in the first screening I had, because again, it's a bunch of critics, so it was loud, but you could hear it. This one, I'm pretty sure nobody even heard the score, because people were going bonkers. They were
So
going bonkers.
That's why I get so angry at that, because
I
like
know,
that's a little thing that you get to hear, like da 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 da. It's so good, man.
And the yellow banana colored
Chair.
hair is, oh my goodness, dude. Like it was, dude, this is like 90, like childhood, literal childhood coming at you.
Yeah.
It's like seeing Power Rangers, the movie, kind of, for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it had the slick, the similar look of the
Right. Yeah. No,
polished.
it was
Like, this is real.
It was
You know?
incredibly cool.
Yes.
And then the final member to get introduced was John Krasinski.
Yeah, but
he gets introduced as the smartest member alive, and then he comes through a portal, and you're just like, oh, fucking, they did! I can't believe they pulled this off.
It's so
And
cool.
they kept
It was
most
so
of it
cool.
secret.
Yeah. It was obviously the cherry of the movie. It's it's what you go to see, and it was great. I had a good time. Just to talk shortly though about one of my frustrations about the Illuminati scene.
Yes.
Is the marketing, right? Why did you have to show? Why did you?
Right.
The voice of Patrick Stewart was enough.
Yeah.
It was, I think, more than enough. But apparently, someone on the marketing team over at Marvel, at Disney, didn't think it was, and it wasn't, because Kevin Feige himself on the red carpet gave a little bit of a jab to the marketing team, saying like, "Yeah, the trailers gave a little off too much. I probably would have done so." He didn't harpoon him, but
which is very interesting, right? Because you look at the marketing for No Way Home, and they kept those two guys secret. Like, you don't see, they kept those guys secret all the way up until the home marketing. That's when it got revealed.
And we even thought they were gonna give something, something, but no, they gave nothing.
Right. And all the articles said that, obviously this is all rumors, we don't actually know. All the articles said that Kevin Feige fought with Sony to have control of the marketing for No Way Home. And it's just weird that, they revealed the Captain Carter shield, so you knew she was going to be in it. Yeah. They revealed, by saying the Illuminati. You don't even need to say that. Just have Patrick Stewart's voice, and that's all you need. You're right.
The word Illuminati was more puzzling, considering that it's like, who are you going after? If you thought you were going after the comic book crowd, they already knew it. So if you're who is it for? The general audience? Nobody knew what the fuck the Illuminati was.
Right.
Why did you have to show? Why was that a choice? So okay, that's puzzling. That was more puzzling to me than showing Charles. But the fact that they showed Charles it's like, to have just seen that purely on screen for the first time would have been nice. But
it would have. I completely agree, dude. I think it would have been perfect. But say like,
and then this led us to think that perhaps. Mm-hmm. Those were low-level guns. They were going to show us more, and then there was also another article about one of the producers saying we had double more than Endgame and No Way Home combined. That's probably true, but also on a low. It wasn't at the level we were thinking, and so all these little things kind of led up to me, expecting way more, and so I was very disappointed.
Right.
That was it. That was the biggest thing. John Krasinski being a little bit step up, But that was it. That was basically it. Anyway, so that frustrated me. I'm not sure if it will frustrate the general audience, but were you frustrated? Were you? You liked it, but were you frustrated by that?
I liked it, but I was a little frustrated that was it. I do think that if we're gonna get into disappointments about the film, I don't think it lived up to the Madness title.
No.
I was expecting more worlds, more multiverses, not just. Basically, they jumped to just one multiverse, and that's where the story is. Yeah. It was, from that standpoint, it was a little disappointing. I think Marvel let hype get away from them. They let the leaks get away from them. They let the rumors get too far out there. Yeah. And look, the rumors and the leaks for Endgame were out of this world, but it lived up to it.
Yes.
Because it's still it didn't, most of the leaks and rumors for that movie didn't come true, but that didn't matter because the movie was still so good.
Right.
This one doesn't as much, it's not as.
That's the thing, is that it kind of it almost the movie up to that part almost feels like it was just kind of made for that part on a narrative level. It just felt so fan servicey at the end of it all. Yeah. And yeah, okay. Well, at least we can agree that it was frustrating.
Yeah, it was frustrating. Absolutely.
Here's another frustrating. Here's something that I also still had a frustrating part.
Okay.
Was frustration with, and
Okay.
it still goes with the Illuminati. Let's talk about the ensuing fight with Wanda, where the entire Illuminati basically goes up against Wanda, and I can't even call it an ass whooping. It was they just died. They just got slaughtered. It was nothing for Wanda. And so we get to see the Black Bolt moment where Wanda, what does she say? She's like,
what mouth?
What mouth? What a line and what a reveal.
Yeah.
So Black Bolt gets like his mouth covered and then he blows his brains out.
Yeah, I mean,
great
literally.
Moment. Yeah, literally.
That was a great moment.
And then of course John Krasinski goes next, gets paper shredded into infinity.
Yeah, paper shredded. That's a great way. That's a fantastic description.
I assume that's what that was.
It looks like they run him through a paper shredder because, and then it gets to his brain and
boop, dead.
Yeah.
And then of course the ladies get a extended fight, which was awesome. But then it leads to Captain Carter getting decapitated. Is that a head?
No, cut in half. I think is the word.
Cut in half. Yeah. By her own shield. Jesus Christ. And then Monica Rambeau gets crushed by a statue. No holds bar. Fair to say in this whole thing. Very Sam Raimi. I get why they did it. Oh, and then of course Charles Xavier. Yeah. This is the third time Charles dies on screen. On screen.
Third time. Yeah.
As the third time he gets his head snapped.
I do think this is the final time we'll see.
I really hope so.
Patrick Stewart he's old. It's time.
This is okay. I agree with you, and this is part of my frustration with the whole. Okay, the concept in and of itself it works with Sam Raimi. I think it's brilliant, but it also
feels like a waste.
It feels like a waste. I know we're going to see the rest of them later. But then you just think of the whole thing as kind of like a gag. It kind of just plays off as a gag. Why couldn't they just have at least left Patrick Stewart alive? Why did they all have to die? And why did he have to die in such like a...
Here's what I wanted, and here's what I think could have saved that scene. Because I agree with you. It does feel like a waste a little bit. I mean, the scene is absolutely fantastic the way it's done.
Again, conceptually, yes. It was great. I liked it. Yes.
But I would have loved to seen a post-credit scene instead of the silly Bruce Campbell one.
Yeah, that was pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, instead of the silly Bruce Campbell one, would have loved to see in a second scene where somebody, a hero from that universe, maybe even you see Mordo, right?
Yes,
you see Mordo from that universe. Yeah, walking through the ruins of what the hell just happened, and he makes a mysterious call and says, we need to regroup now. Yeah, and that mysterious call can be an Iron Man variant. It could be another Captain America variant, somewhere else, because clearly this movie is hinting at a much bigger thing. Like the whole movie, they say incursion about 750 times in the goddamn movie.
Yeah,
they're clearly hinting at, I think, Secret Wars as the next big Avengers.
Yeah, because that's exactly what incursion comes from, in a sense. Yeah.
And I think it would have done a lot to save that scene and make that scene mean a lot more if there was some sort of reckoning or reconciliation with among the heroes of that universe, the Mordo living and whoever else you want to throw in there. Make it fucking Hugh Jackman walk through.
It had no weight. It had no weight to it. It just felt like a cheap gag to do, rather than it actually having some sort of actual consequences or
make it
hinting.
Make it the X-Men. You want to introduce the X-Men? Have Hugh Jackman, Storm, Rogue walk down this place and go, "What the hell happened here?"
Right.
And Mordo walk up and said, "We need to talk. Or we need to prepare for war." That's
what we talked about beforehand, thinking we even theorized we got to see another X-Men. We got to see a Fantastic Four. This is again. Overall, we thought this movie was going to be the impetus, the jump off point for the multiverse and everything that was going to happen, but it ended up not being that movie. Right. It's just not and that's the disappointing part is it's not that movie. Right. And okay, fine. But also it felt like it should have been.
Right.
It felt like it was going to be. You guys made it seem like it was, and that's what's disappointing. Also, in that sense, I actually think that this movie would have played better before No Way Home. Like, I think I would have accepted it more if it was the first time that the multiverse was sort of being introduced. I could give it some of its leeway, being like, okay, yeah, it's a tease. But we got the tease in No Way Home. We even have the tease in Loki. We have we're being teased a lot already.
Yes.
So the fact that it feels out of place almost, and it seems like maybe they tried to do their best because they would have to. Here's the thing: they would have had to reshoot basically the entire movie for it to had been the movie we wanted it to be.
Yeah.
But they must have shot a bunch of it before that, and so there was just no way. There was just no way.
Remember, we've said this before. This movie was slated to come out before No Way Home. They had to push it back because of COVID and COVID delays. And I mean, I think they pushed it back another 3 months or so, essentially because they, basically because they wanted to, capitalize on the box office. It was going to come out in March, but March was really the month for the Batman, so they couldn't put it there. So this is why they moved it here. But yeah, I completely agree with you, man, and I think it's a really good point. It would have been a better sell for the MCU before No Way Home.
Yes,
and then No Way Home shows you more of the multiverse, and again, this show was supposed to be buttoned right up against Loki. Right. This movie was supposed to be buttoned, like Loki was going to end, and then you see the multiverse open up in this movie. So, actually, I'm wrong. This movie was supposed to be right in between WandaVision and Loki. So this would have fed to Loki.
To Loki.
Which would have really, really kind of expanded the universe. So when you look at it like that, I think the movie in that placement works a lot better. Because you have WandaVision, Wanda breaking bad, essentially. Then you have Wanda going full bad. Then you get the multiverse opening. Yeah. Yes. You get the multiverse opening and him saying, hey, you started an incursion. And then you see Loki in the events of Loki, and you see the multiverse breaking, and you're just, and then you see.
Exactly. You're right. See, it goes to it crushes my heart because it's clear that's what their intention was.
That's the plan. Yes.
Yeah, because this basically tells you the multiverse exists, but then Loki's like, oh shit, it's broken open. Yeah.
It's much bigger than you think.
And then we have No Way Home. Fuck. God, that would have been so. Yeah.
Then you have No Way Home, and then you have whatever is next, right?
Damn it. So they had it in the bag originally, but things happen.
I think originally it was gonna work in the way it did, but hey. But with all that said, this is Marvel, and it was still a good movie. But like, this is something you have to account for. You have to recalculate it. You have to make it mean more. I think the best thing they could have done is reshot the Illuminati scene to be less of a gag and have more weight. Again, even just keep Reed and Charles alive, just so that we know there's a prospect. Like, this is where it starts, rather than kill them both off in such a weird, kind of play jokey way. Yeah, like I said, I think if you have that post-credit scene where you have the X-Men,
I love that idea,
the Iron Man variant, or anyone else, or another, like a member of the Fantastic Four, Emily Blunt, walking down saying, "What the hell happened here?"
Imagine, I'm thinking about it now. What would have been cool is if we found out that Charles played an illusion on Wanda for the whole thing. That'd have been cool. Like, they didn't really die, but they just come back. That'd have been really cool.
Yeah.
That he's still technically.
Them saying, I can't believe that worked. And then they're like, we got to prepare for war now.
Exactly. Because like they should know that their survival is more paramount than actually technically kind of helping Strange in a sense. Because they were already kind of iffy about it in the first place. I think it would have made more sense if they just like, look, we needed to save ourselves and just see how this played out, and then that way, because I mean, it's fucking Charles Xavier. This is and the smartest man alive. Do not risk your life for this.
And then boom, gone.
So I guess we can agree. Again, goes back to the story and the writing. Could have been written better, probably. But
so that's the Illuminati gag in that thing, and that was kind of like a long thing, but that was probably the biggest like comic book oh fuck moment. But I mean, since we've talked about complaints, why don't we just keep going with them.
Went to a little bit. All right.
I think you and I have the same big complaint. This felt an awful lot like, actually the same two big complaints. This felt awfully like they pushed Strange to the side.
Yeah.
And it was Wanda's movie, and you don't really have a reason or a story for Strange. So if you want to talk about that a little bit? Or?
Yeah, sure. Of course. No, I agree with you. I think Strange got shortchanged here in terms of, I mean, obviously not screen time. He's on screen for the whole freaking movie. Thank goodness they didn't cut away from him too much. But his story was just so shallow. Yeah. It's early on in the movie. We see that he attends Christine Palmer's wedding. We find out that she moved on after he blipped for 5 years. And we get the sense that, he wished he could have done more. He wished he could have been there. He regrets not being there more from the person that we find out more about their backstory. Like I didn't realize that they were going to get married, that she was the person who gave him the watch. Like their bond is extremely strong. And so, so him being sort of regretful and wanting to be with Christine is sort of his arc for the movie. It's his, that's it. And it kind of doesn't really have anything to do with the larger story. And that's what's really problematic with Strange in this movie, is that he doesn't have much weight for himself to carry here. And it doesn't flow through America's story, because her thing is that she doesn't control her powers. And it's like, okay, whatever, great. That's not to do with you.
She was a cool addition, but like cool. I mean, I get it. You put her in there so they could go through the multiverse. We get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he just becomes a tool to fix Wanda. But his personal story for this has nothing really to do with it all, and that's disappointing. Did you agree with that?
For me, the bigger problem is there's no resolution, right? Like he's like, oh, are you happy? Are you happy? Are you happy? And then like at the end of the movie, he kind of asks him, are you happy? And he like fakes it. He says, are you okay? And he goes, I'm fine. But it's pretty clear he fakes it. So like, I don't know if that was the intention, that he wasn't going to have a resolution in this movie. Obviously, because we see the third eye come up on him at the end and all that jazz. But like, there was no resolution. Like you would hope that you'd hope it'd be like a Spider-Man or Iron Man kind of thing, where like, I am happy doing this. I was meant to protect the world. Like when Parker sees MJ at the donut shop and he lets her go.
Awesome.
Like that's like a great moment, because that's what elevates that movie beyond the cameos, beyond the action, is that, oh shit, he understands now that he is happy the way it is. Like it's not perfect, but he's okay with it now. Like we don't get that with Strange in this movie at all. And you
get that in Doctor Strange 1, is why I think that movie does a really good job, because
you're right. Yes.
And it ties into it beautifully tied into the resolution for the action with Dormammu, right? Like that clever way they decided to deal with that with the
I'm here to bargain.
Dormammu, I'm here to bargain. It was great. I mean, that's not something you expected at all in the movie, and they went the extra mile to make you feel for Strange and have him have a resolution. You don't get that here at all. Like,
no,
sorry,
dude. You're right. You don't. Like, and like you go back to Doctor Strange 1, where he has that scene where when the Ancient One dies and he comes to grips with, I need to be this Doctor Strange. This is what I'm meant to do. And he's crying in the mirror, and the cape like wipes it off. Yeah. Like that part's great, and you don't get that here. And really, you don't. I think that's part of the problem I have with the pace, is that it's just you're at this neck breaking pace the whole time, that there is no time for
there's no room
any
to
of that.
breathe. Yeah, for him to breathe. Yeah.
And like, I will sit here and I will defend Infinity War over Endgame any day, because people say, oh, Infinity War is too fast paced. I loved Infinity War and the pace of Infinity War.
I agree.
It's my favorite Avengers movie of all time. It'll always be better than Endgame in my opinion. But it doesn't work. It is too fast paced. There is no time to breathe. There is no development of character.
No.
So that's how I feel about it. So I do agree.
I totally agree. It was one of the more disappointing facets about it. I will say though, and we talked about this before, he had a great resolution line with Christine, that panty dropping line, that I love you in every universe. I mean, and Benedict plays that moment so well. Yeah. So I just wish there was more to that. Like that could have really hit hard.
Yeah.
If they just went in on it. And you made a good point about this. because I think the good resolution for it was to just write in more scenes where like he is tempted by the Darkhold to be with Christine.
Yeah.
But you made the point that that is What If episode 4 basically.
Exactly.
But at the same time, it's like, well, then we'll just do it. Just do it again, because like again, you have an empty story for Strange, and they chose that way. And I guess maybe it was too bloated. I don't know. This movie was also technically supposed to be 30 more minutes longer.
Yeah.
Before reshoots and needing to clean it up from
Randy said he cut out a bunch of stuff. So
maybe there was more. It's sad that maybe they had to cut that out, but that really would have helped because
It's strange to me. It is weird to me that they did cut that out because, like, look, a typical runtime for these Marvel movies is 2.5 hours.
Yeah, and
we've all come to just be fine with it. And it's weird to me to cut that out because I don't know what they cut out. I don't know if it would have been more of that. But yeah,
I'd like to trust them that it would make. The truth is that typically editing does make a better movie because
correct.
Typically it does. Typically,
yes.
So I like, and the people behind the scenes here, I think are the best. So I assume that they made the right choice.
Yeah.
So that's fine. But we wanted more. We love our boy, and we just wanted more from him. We just wanted more from him.
What other problems did you have with the film? Because I had another big one, but I think you have it too. So you go.
I do, and it has similarly to do with the story and the character arcs, and that was with Wanda. I really, really didn't like. First of all, again, I said earlier, and I'm sure you can attest to this too. Elizabeth Olsen, fucking phenomenal.
She's fantastic.
Wow, she's great, and Sam Raimi really makes use of her situation and how she is to really become the Scarlet Witch in this movie.
Yeah, the mother aspect she plays is really good, and it's like really it's to the point where she's like a scary mom. Like, she's like,
you don't fuck with her.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean,
she's ready.
To repeat what you have always say, almost in every episode, it seems. Marvel's casting department deserves some sort of Oscar, but
they really do. But anyway, so she's phenomenal. That being said, her story is a little muddled too because let's start at the beginning. At the end of WandaVision, we get the sense that maybe she understood what she did. It wasn't right, but we understood that okay. She still is going to go for this though. She still wants her kid, so she has the Darkhold. We get that at the end of WandaVision. That's fine. At the beginning of the movie, she is from frame one. We realize that she's not Wanda anymore. She's Scarlet Witch.
Yeah,
and you're kind of whiplashed from that, right?
Yeah,
like you go,
it's very sudden.
That's what I thought they were going to have Wanda switch a little bit, maybe after the end of the first act or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's not what happened. She's just straight up Scarlet Witch, and I was like, okay, that's a little sudden. That being said, her turn's awesome, so let's see where this goes. For the rest,
it was pretty cool when she revealed what like everything you're doing, and then Strange immediately knew. He was like, "Oh, I fucked up."
Yeah. No, see, that moment's great. Like, I wouldn't take out any of the moments. It's just I wish there was a little more build up to that than like, oh shit. Because like you said too, if you didn't watch WandaVision, you're gonna be lost as fuck. You're gonna be hit in the face.
If you haven't watched WandaVision, you're gonna be like, wait a minute, she's bad now? What the fuck happened? Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Keep going.
A little more of that. And so the rest of the movie, they basically try to insinuate that it's the Darkhold that has taken over Wanda. Basically fully, like almost to the point where it's like, are we absolving Wanda
again
of everything that she had done and what she wants to do? I think that was wrong on both accounts for her character. I think that was not a good thing to do because one, it completely gets rid of everything that was built up in WandaVision to make her to make her have a human story of like, wanting children, wanting love,
right,
having grief, wanting to happiness for herself. I thought was a perfectly fine explanation and motivation to do everything she was doing, and that if the Darkhold allowed her to enable her to do that, that was also enough too. But by the end of the movie, she kills herself, whatever, at the end of the film. and gets rid of all the Darkholds. And before she does that, she says the line. She says it to Strange and almost to camera. I will not allow the Darkhold to enchant anybody else ever again, or some shit. And I'm like, that sounds like you're pushing blame, Wanda.
Yeah,
like, you're not taking responsibility for the fact you wanted this, are you? That was cheap, and that, I mean, again, we've been waiting for this for years, and that was not a good resolution to me.
Right. I would
more.
I would completely agree. And look, they let her off the hook again.
They let her off the hook.
Look, you get that terrible line from a fantastic show in WandaVision where they'll never know what you sacrificed for them. But it's like, listen. All these heroes have sacrificed everything. Like, look at the life and the grief that Captain America had to go through. Look how in Endgame you really get the feel of how unhappy he really is. Look at how unhappy Black Widow is. So like, sure, they'll never know what you had to give up, but all these heroes have given up a lot for all these people. Tony Stark gave up his life with his daughter to give life back to everyone, to billions of people across the universe. So you can't just say that line and just be like, oh, it's okay, you're absolved of your problems. And then here again, she kind of just gets away with it in this like crazy way, because she has that line at the beginning of the movie where it goes, you break the rules, you're great line, applauded for it. I break the rules and I'm a villain. And it's like, well, there's a big difference between what he did and what you're doing.
True. Yeah.
So yeah, I completely agree. They let her off the hook again. I mean, when she died, I don't think she's dead.
I don't think she's dead. Yeah.
Elizabeth Olsen. She's
that little like
her
red fart cloud though. So
yeah, whatever that was.
Whatever that means. Yeah.
Maybe she transported out of there somehow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. And she's just hiding. So it was not my favorite arc. So I think like the two main characters of the movie, unfortunately, Doctor Strange had a lack of an arc and lack of resolution, and she just kind of got away with it. Yeah.
She had an arc, but the resolution to it was,
and we were talking about this earlier in the episode, but it does go back to, I think this was supposed to be right after WandaVision, and it would have made a lot more sense.
Correct.
But since it wasn't, you should have in the reshoots done just a tiny little bit more to build the character back up and remind you that she is now a villain.
Yeah.
Again,
I'm sure COVID messed up a lot of things, and maybe they had better plans for it and they just didn't have time. But still, it's like they've had better arcs written for even minor stories, is all I'm saying. Like, I just feel like they could have done better a little bit, wrap that up more nicely.
I think
for these characters.
That's a good way of like both of us kind of encapsulating our problems with the film. The two main characters' arcs fell flat.
Yeah, and that seems to be kind of like what we really want from MCU movies at the end of the day. It's why we love the movies we love, is because they treat the characters. When they treat the characters properly, that's what really makes us love an MCU story. And when they don't, it falls flat. It just starts to feel like another superhero movie. And that really is the big difference, I think, for the ones
I agree, yeah. And then you look at No Way Home and you go, well, here's how you serve Peter Parker correctly in the multiverse. And then you look at this and you go, this feels very fan servicey to a point, and you forgot about your two main characters.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. I mean, look, I'm going to stick to my 3.5 out of 5. It was still a fun movie. It was a fine movie. And like I said, I think maybe we should go into things we liked about the movie, because we've talked about how much things we haven't liked. Yeah.
Let's go into one of the other main characters that I did like, and her arc wasn't exactly the biggest one. Yeah. It wasn't the best either, but it serviced the plot just fine. And I think her performance was great. I'm talking, of course, about America Chavez, played by Sochi. I learned how to pronounce this yesterday.
It's Sochi.
Sochi Gomez. Yeah. Wow. What a way with letters.
Yeah. EXO.
They just went whatever with how to spell Sochi.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Maybe that's a Spanish thing or a Mexican thing. Sorry.
It is a Hispanic thing because the guy from Miguel from Cobra Kai, his name is spelled XOLO and it's Sholo.
Oh, see, okay, I didn't know. I learned a lot.
Sochi, yeah.
Sochi, so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought America Chavez was great. What did you think of her?
Yeah, I loved her. I mean, I can already hear people yelling and complaining. Oh my God, she has two moms, blah, blah. But like, you know, I think, first of all, if you go like look at the comics, oh my God, yes. I mean, just a really quick little tea on that. There's no winning anymore. There's never, you know, like there's never, if you change the character's origin, then everybody would be pissed about it. If you don't change the character origin, then other people are going to be pissed about it. So it's just like, chill. They're taking from the comics. Even Kevin Feige had a quote saying, "This is the comic book character.
Yeah, she has two moms.
We're not changing it." But I thought it was great. Like, I kind of want to know more about her world because apparently it's this like utopian world where there's peace and everything, and she kind of maybe messed it all up with her powers accidentally. Because that sounds like a great heartbreaking backstory. Like that's what a fucking hero is built out of. Yeah. Pretty hardcore origin story. Anyway, I think that she was great. I really don't have any problems with the character. She was like when she's mentioned Spider-Man shooting webs out of his butt. I couldn't stop laughing. I thought it was great. She brought a good amount of presence to the screen and carried herself really well. And I really thought that her and Doctor Strange's relationship worked really well. Like it was kind of cute by the end. I was like, wow, he's like a father figure to her.
Yeah, yeah. I thought that was really
yeah. When he's the zombie Strange, which was one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Oh yeah, the zombie Strange. That was great.
And he's like winking at her. Like I like that's the Sam Raimi silly comedy that'll make some people laugh, but other people not laugh because they won't get it. That really works for me. That made me like excel the film.
No, I loved it too. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I like the relationships. Her powers are cool. Obviously this is just the beginning because she's now at Carmitage. She's going to learn to become a sorceress. So yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes.
I was thinking this whole time, so if they had to make rewrites, I think what could have made both of their stories more compelling, particularly Strange, is look, in No Way Home, you had a kid fuck up badly. Yeah. And that should probably never, I would imagine he would never want to trust a young person ever again. So it would have been really cool if he carried that frustration or that what would you call it? Not trusting like a young kid to her. And so the whole movie is him being frustrated with her, but then learning to love her and learning that, and that could also be a gateway to how she unlocks her powers. Yeah. But again, rewrites. But that would have made, again, that in and of itself could have been a better story than what Strange
Yeah, that would have been really great to watch, Strange say, last time I trusted a kid, he kind of broke the multiverse.
Yeah. You kind of miss that. Like he says it too. That was obviously a reshoot. But he says, I saved I helped save Spider-Man from the multiverse breaking, whatever. And it would have made more sense if he was mad about it.
Right.
But he seemed like, whatever.
So
that would have been nice.
Yeah. America Chavez, she was great. In other moments, another thing I really loved about the film is when Wanda attacks Carmitage. I thought that whole sequence was really cool.
Yeah.
The way he built, because it starts as like a pure action scene, and then it built into like a horror action scene where she's in people's heads and she says the words "run."
Dude, that moment is so good.
Yes.
Where she creepily goes around.
She's just like right there. Like it's the perfect Sam Raimi thing, dude.
I heard an audible like from like the audience, and that's what you look for from those moments. And like beautifully done. Beautifully. The music cuts out.
Yes. The music exactly. The music cuts out and it has that scary movie thing where it's just silence. And you're just, for a second you're in your own head thinking, oh man, someone's gonna pop out of me. Yeah. Yeah. And it just works really well. Beautiful. And then like when they're trying to get America out of the place, and like this is where you see Scarlet Witch really, for the first time, show her power.
Yeah.
Like his sling ring disappears, she makes it disappear into thin air. They trap her in a mirror dimension, and no one's supposed to be able to get out of a mirror dimension. And then all of a sudden, she's using reflections to pull people down and kill them. Yeah. It was so well done.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Yeah,
couldn't agree more.
That was one of the high points of the movie. But the best part of the movie for me, and then we'll get into yours, is the music scene. I was losing my mind. I was like, this is okay, go ahead.
You have to you I'm gonna ask you, you have to explain that scene to me, why you feel that way about that scene, because I think I missed something. I don't hate that scene by any means. In fact, I got the notion that they were obviously trying to do something fun here, something inventive, something that wasn't just gonna divulge into like lightsaber whips. Whipping back and forth. So I liked it. At the same time, I'm not sure I get it. Like motivationally speaking, am I missing that like Strange likes music or what?
No, I don't think it's anything. I don't think it's anything like that. It's not. He hits the keys, and I agree. The reason I love it so much is because as you just hit at it, you know, a lot of the stuff you see with Doctor Strange is just here's the shields and here's the whip. But this time we got to see him use something from the real world. He made music notes, and he took them and he turned them into weapons. And then not only to elevate the scene even more was the orchestral arrangement behind it. Yes. As things were getting thrown, orchestra hits were happening and the music was all synced to it. It was just this like beautiful moment of cinematography and just, I thought, absolute creativity that I was like, I never thought I would see Doctor Strange use his powers like that. I was like, this is so freaking cool. He's using music. He took something that was, you know, just something as simple as a keyboard push on a piano and a piano key push on a note. He made a musical note a weapon because that's what Doctor Strange can do. He can take anything and turn it into a weapon.
Okay,
and
got it.
That was so cool to me. I was like, more so than Reed Richards or anything like that. I was like, oh my god, this is fucking. I was losing my mind. I was like, I thought it was so cool.
It was tickling your creativity.
Yes, I was like, I would never have expected. I don't know whose idea that was, and I loved every single minute of that scene.
I think I have the same reaction. I get it. So that is the truth. Like it was more like it was a creative choice that you didn't.
That's the only reason I love it.
Okay, yeah. I love it for that same reason. I just got confused, I guess, because I wasn't sure. Because I was thinking like, does he like music or something? Like I thought there was a narrative purpose.
I don't think there is
music. I thought that's what it was, and then because then the other Strange then caught on to that, and he's like, "Oh, okay, I see what you're doing here. I'm gonna put up the bars for you to put your notes on."
Yes,
I like that. It's cute, but I also thought I was wondering if it actually meant something to them as characters. And so I guess if they just had maybe for me. I think maybe if they had just like kind of wrapped that in a little bit better, I would have been like, oh, cool. Like he's using, you know, if he played the piano in the beginning of the movie or something, like that would make sense to me more.
You know what it gave me?
I get it though. I get it. Okay.
It gave me super Fantasia vibes.
Oh, okay.
The sorcerer with the blue hat controlling the band. Maybe it was like a Disney
blowing
thing.
My mind. You're blowing my mind right now. Like
it gave me those kind of vibes.
I think you're connecting the dots that they are that no one else.
I just loved the scene so much.
Great Disney reference. Yes.
It was my favorite part of the movie by far, which I mean like I
love it. I love that.
I don't think anyone's gonna take it away. Like obviously there's the Illuminati scene, but that part was just so cool to me.
You're making me appreciate it more than I was already appreciating it, so that's great. I think I'll like it more every time I see it now. Yeah. I just thought it was a little random is all. It is
a random. Yes, you're right.
But at the same time you're right though. I wasn't connecting the idea that Strange has to use what is available to him because he can't exactly fight. He can't bring the power against another sorcerer just by fist fighting, right? So he uses like the animals from different dimensions and whatever those things are, and he has to. They all have to use things around him. So, okay, that's a great. Okay, that's I give that one to you. That makes sense. That he's like, okay, I can use musical notes, and it makes it. Yeah. Okay. All right.
So, what are some of your favorite parts of the movie?
I liked it. Favorite parts. My favorite part of all time in the movie.
Wow.
I mean, I wouldn't call out any particular action scene as like they were good. I wouldn't say anything was particularly outstanding.
Amazing. Yeah, I would agree.
You're turning me on that scene though, because I think the creativity of it was again like the Dormammu fight, like that stuff. I love that, and it gives us something new. So I do like that. Honestly, man, the best part of the movie for me in general was the Sam Raimi stuff. Like every time, every camera move, again, that part, the creepy parts. I guess one of my favorite parts, honestly, is the moment that Scarlet or Wanda tries to dreamwalk into the 838. That whole sequence, and then the picture frame. When she looks at the picture frame and the fucking Wanda looks at her, I love that part so much.
Yes.
It's so scary. It's so creepy. And the fact that they did that practically is so good. Yeah. So I think they just really nailed the tone. I also just love the cinematography and the lighting of this film. I think it's for me, I think it's probably one of the best looking MCU films that they have out there, where they actually put effort. And it's a place where you see what a veteran director can really bring to an MCU film, because as you know, a lot of these newer directors, they use them because they have something to bring, and that's fine, but they're also a little more inexperienced. So Marvel does a lot of lifting when it comes to second unit direction, action, and cinematography. They're like, don't worry about that so much. We're okay if it looks like this. We're fine. And so largely I think they have to admit to that, because one, they don't have a lot of time to shoot. And again, they're a little more inexperienced. So they throw them some bones. But man, this movie, Sam Raimi has the same amount of time, I think, than any other directors had to make a film. But dude, did he bring it in those creative departments? Again, just the lighting, the color was so cool. The camera tilts, they were also done so wonderfully, and it really elevated the film for me as a standout entry. Since the story kind of failed me, but all of that I just thought was so beautiful and great, and just gave really truly made this an exceptional film. So that is my favorite part of the movie for sure.
As the story goes, as the movie goes, it feels more and more Sam Raimi. He was like stepping back into it. It feels like, and then as it goes, he gets more comfortable, and then it gets more Sam Raimi, and then it gets better, and it gets better. And like you said, where she's trying to dreamwalk into herself for the first time, it felt so Evil Dead with the way the camera's moving around the staircase, and then she looks over and she's like, "Oh shit!" And then through it,
the fisheye lens, kind of in person point of view on that. That was great.
You have the everything about it was so fun.
When Wanda looks into the camera, when she becomes that one, that's so Sam Raimi. That's so hard. So I love that. What was that other? One of my other favorite moments of the film. Right when that first time we see Wanda, and she's dreamwalk. I mean, she's having a dream. And then it just cuts to her in bed. So heartbreaking. I found that moment so heartbreaking, because the music crescendos, and they're having this moment, and it cuts out, and she's in bed. It's just it's so heartbreaking. That actually got a good audible good audible gasp from the audience too. It's moments like that that's like, you don't get those in like some of the less veteran directors in the MCU. This is someone who is in full control of his craft, his style, and just transmitting it to this IP. And he did it at the perfect moments. Like I'm like, that's great. And then you mentioned one of your favorite parts was at the end where Defender Zombie Strange. I mean, again, what a beautiful way to make it so Sam Raimi, so
Yeah.
fresh that we haven't seen, and using the freaking whatever those things, the demons as the
Demons
king,
as his
and
dude.
yelling at Wanda, like that's full.
Yeah.
Like, it's a beautiful point you made. Like, yeah, it gets more and more Sam Raimi
Yeah.
right to the end, and it's just
And
that's awesome.
you see Strange at the sorry, you see Wong still climbing up, and when he sees
Yeah.
Strange like hit those like those 4 or 3 monsters left over,
whatever those are, yeah.
whatever those were, you don't really explain. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
You know, in the trailer you heard Strange, but in this one you hear his actual yell, Strange,
Right.
like, my buddy's back.
They tricked us on that one. Yeah,
I thought that was great.
That was clever.
And then,
that was clever.
yeah, when he gets up there, I think Wong and Strange have one of the best relationships in
They're
all the
so
MCU.
good. Yes.
Like just fantastic chemistry between the two. It really works well.
It works well.
But as like two best friends that kind of hate each other because one wants to be the Sorcerer Supreme and the other one isn't. You know, and like he walks up there and he says, "I don't even want to know."
Yeah.
I thought that was great, man.
It's great because you picture that he's done things like that so many times.
Yeah.
You know there's a rapport between them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. And Wong, by the way, he was great in this movie. He got to exercise a little bit more dramatic moments too, and action, both, everything. They gave him a great. I mean, he doesn't really have a story arc, but his moments were awesome.
Right.
And then I'm glad he didn't die. We were suspecting that he
I
could be the one
thought he was
might
gonna die. Yeah.
and he didn't. I'm glad. It's one of those things where if Wong's there forever, totally fine. But also, if he were to die, I would be crushed in the best way. Also, if they do it right.
Right.
But Benedict Wong's great. I really hope they keep him around, and he's just awesome. So
yeah.
Is there anything else about this movie? Well, yeah. What do you got?
I would have loved in that final scene. Obviously, it can't be this way because he doesn't remember who Peter Parker is. But if in that little bit of in that little bit of dialogue, he goes, "A kid had to give up everything for me recently to fix something recently. I'm not going to force you to give up your life. Just trust who you are." That would have even elevated the dialogue just a little bit more when he's talking to America.
I like that. I like that.
But yeah,
I'm sure that's just one of the scenes they just chose not to reshoot.
Right? Yeah, they're like, we fucking COVID ruined things. But
we're just gonna get a pizza place.
Yeah, dude, it was
reshoot the scene to cover up some cracks here. Pizza.
Yeah, get some pizza and then we'll
I didn't realize how many pizza references there were in this movie. Yeah, there was that one
pizza
scene, the pizza balls, and Bruce Campbell was the pizza. What's his name? Pizza
Papa.
Pizza Papa.
Pizza Papa. That's it. Yeah.
Bruce Campbell so much.
So do I, man. So yeah, overall, it was a good film. I think they overhyped the film in marketing.
Yeah.
I don't think the title should have been Multiverse of Madness.
It's a great title. I mean, I don't fault them for using it, but they should have just delivered on it more is all.
Yeah, maybe like, I don't know, Doctor Strange versus the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah,
Doctor Strange and the Scarlet Witch. That's all it needed to be because that's all it was. I don't know. So yeah, overall, I was
Doctor Strange in the Scarlet Witch
and the Scarlet Witch.
Jesus Christ, dude. I was like,
Vision's coming for something. Better watch out, Doctor.
Night in Paris sequel. All right.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about the last thing on this movie, and that's the post-credit scene.
Oh my God, I totally forgot about the post-credit scene. Yes.
In my opinion, it's a little forgettable. Overall,
it's weird. It's just awkward. Tonally, it's awkward.
Tonally, it's very strange. It just.
Well, let's for those who don't know, and if you're actually listening, I don't know why you would, but the mid-credit scene is that we get Charlize Theron as Clea Strange, apparently, or it's probably not. It's not Strange yet, but she ends up being Doctor Strange's wife later.
Eventually, she's the Sorceress Supreme. I don't know what it is.
Oh, okay.
Of the dark dimension.
Oh, she is. Oh, okay.
So, and they're very good allies, and they eventually get married. Yeah, I read up a little bit about the character after you said Clea Strange.
So that's Charlize Theron in the MCU. That's great. What did you think?
I don't know. It felt like she felt like she mailed in her performance. I don't know. It was
she was Charlize Theron, but more or less. I mean,
I was like, I don't know. I feel like Charlize Theron is dropped in my mind in terms of acting because of the Fast films.
Yeah, Cypher's wow.
So like, I can't I don't know. I need to see more with her.
Yeah, it's not enough
to be engaged in the character at all. Like I was more engaged with Captain Carter than I was that.
Absolutely.
So her, sorry. And but like
It'd be an introduction. What are you gonna do?
yeah, it was weird, but we mentioned that they say this word incursion, and here he is, and then he has his third eye, which, the third eye can mean a lot of things. We haven't mentioned Strange's third eye.
Oh yeah.
It can mean something. It can mean that he's breaking bad slowly, that he's taking on too much power too fast. It could also just mean that he has more skill sets now.
We don't know. I mean, well, because it's that was awkward too. Is that literally the previous scene is him screaming in agony, and then the third eye pops in, so you think that's bad, and then in this one he just pops out on like it's
like he's ready to go, like he has control of it.
Yeah. So what? I mean, who knows how much time has passed? But I mean, but all we know is that obviously that's the Darkhold is somewhat a part of him. That's what that means.
Right. Yeah. So he's like absorbed the Darkhold power.
Yeah. So what can he do? Yeah. So
so he's now even more powerful.
Yeah. Right. I think that was basically what they were trying to say. It's like this is him advancing as a sorcerer.
Exactly. I think that's probably it. A lot of people said, "Oh, will he break bad?" I just don't think he will.
No, I don't.
Benedict Cumberbatch is going to play this character for another 10 years. He said so, which is I'm very excited about. I think he's one of the best in a world of great castings. He's probably one of the best castings ever made.
I agree with you. I don't
love him as Doctor Strange.
I don't see anyone else at the moment playing him at all.
Which is why I think the movie fails us in that stretch. Like it fails Benedict Cumberbatch in what he can do. But yes, Clea says, you started an incursion. You have to help me fix it. Something along those lines. And then cuts a literal hole that looked like they did it yesterday.
Yeah, it wasn't great. It looked like they literally cut a green screen. And that's what that's what it was.
It looks like the dimension. It looks like the dark dimension that they're going to go to or do something.
It's definitely dark dimension.
It's exciting. Again, I think Marvel, and I want to make this point. It does feel like Marvel's got a lot in the air right now. Like
it does.
You have Moon Knight, Egyptian gods, and a bunch of shit happening there. You have Thor and his gods, plus Zeus and Hercules, the mythical gods.
You have
Eternals. You have the Guardians of the Galaxy. You have the Eternals.
You have whatever the fuck's going on in Shang-Chi and Dragons. Like
yes, that's like a mid-realm thing, right?
Yeah.
So like now you got this dark dimension. You now have the multiverse open. You got a lot of things being juggled here. So I need Marvel to start kind of connecting them and wrapping them together somehow, some way.
This is where I can only hope that Quantumania start. Like I'm begging for them to finally start this. It's getting to be a little too much. Like I don't know how much more of teasing the multiverse I can take, considering they've teased it so much already. Like let's go. Let's settle some grounds here as to what this is. What does this all mean for this phase? And considering they don't have an Avengers movie slated for phase 4.
No.
So I'm kind of a little worried that this may go on until phase 5. But I'm really wanting it to start now. It's going on for a little long. So but I don't know.
I mean, I get it. Part of it's, COVID and it getting delayed and everything. And I'm sure they had a plan. Like at this moment in time, I think we were supposed to, we're past Thor 4 at this point, and we're looking toward Black Panther 2 in July. Yeah. And then it's weird, but I think they need to start wrapping stuff up here. But this is yet another tease into a full multiversal kind of thing here, which again, we're just kind of putting our toes in the multiverse. We're not actually fully in it yet, which we thought this movie would give us, which is another disappointment. Marvel's got to start putting this together somehow, some way, really fast. Just because it's a lot. But I don't think, with it said, I don't think we're getting an answer to this till February of 2023 when Ant-Man and the Wasp comes out.
I agree. I think that's the next time we're going to hear something big. Thor is obviously, I'm pretty sure, narratively speaking, that's not going to dive into the multiverse very heavily. Which I'm actually looking forward to that, because I'd rather not be teased if you're not going to do this for another fucking year. Like
pump the brakes on it. Yeah,
that's fine. But he has to be a part of the multiverse. So I think a post-credit scene or near the end, I'm sure something's going to connect. But I'm hoping they do. Yeah, I'm really hoping they don't make it part of the bigger thing, which I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
Like again, I would have used the second credit scene, which is a Bruce Campbell scene, which is funny, but I don't need it. Yeah, but like, I would have used the second one to start teasing what's next.
Of course,
like the Illuminati. Someone's gonna wonder who killed all the Illuminati in that world.
Right. Of course.
Like there has to be something, right? And if you're going to introduce this world, is that 838 world the world that is the Secret Wars world that, starts the incursion or whatever the hell it is. So, interesting post-credit scene. Kind of weird, if we're honest.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah. It was awkward. I didn't, just whatever. Yeah. But it's good to know that, Marvel is still very much getting celebrity wish lists on fire here. Like
Charlize Theron.
We're gonna see some of the greatest actors in our lifetime be on screen in the MCU, and that's great. That's super exciting. They're not slowing down on that whatsoever. So good stuff.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Anyways, that's it for Multiverse of Madness. Okay, that was quite the talk. I don't think it could have been any shorter considering how much that film brought. But MCU fans, hopefully you're not as disappointed with the shortcomings of this film.
I think we're gonna be okay. Yeah, I think
we're gonna be fine. It gave us stuff, which is I can only be grateful for.
It currently sits at 89% on the audience score.
89.
It's getting a 4.5 out of 5 average.
Oh, interesting. Actually, 89 is a little bit lower than I expected too.
Wow, really?
From the audience. I thought it was a clear-cut 92 from the audience. Like, again, it's a perfectly enjoyable movie overall, right? I don't see anyone being bored of this movie. Like, my problems are nerdy narrative shit,
For me, I think, dude, it's more that, like, I just think that they overpromised. Like, people got maybe not even so much overpromised, maybe too much into the leaks. Maybe. Most of the leaks for No Way Home came true.
Yeah.
Here it's different.
Yeah.
None of no Tom Cruise, no Tobey Maguire. Yo, there was a lot of people that said Tobey Maguire will be in this movie, and he was not. Now look, he could have been cut. Would it have been amazing if that was the post-credit scene? Tobey walks into that Illuminati building and he's like, "Wait a minute, what the hell happened here?"
It was so cool if he would have definitely had a different suit. He would have played a different
Tobey than the one we met.
Yeah. He would play he'd play a different one. That'd been pretty sick to see. Yeah. Older one. I know.
Ooh,
yeah.
Marvel.
Well, it's gone now. It's fine.
Yeah. We can't hope of it. Yeah. Okay.
No,
whatever.
All right.